Right. Hello. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning to you guys. It is High Priestess Jamila. Hello. How are y'all? You're probably going to hear things shifting and moving around over here, and it is because I am making some kosher salt blend. um, and so you're probably going to hear salt and all kinds of stuff over here. Um, it just real quick to introduce myself. I am probably one of the leaders in the spiritual industry or spiritual area that specializes in family curses, generational curses, curses of sacrifice by the parents, where you are sacrificed by the parents, either your mother or your father. I am the leader in that area. Okay. And so a lot of people acknowledge the phenomenon of narcissistic parents, but I think that that's all they talk about is the narcissistic parents. But there's different areas, different levels of narcissism. There's the psychotic narcissist. There's the sociopathic narcissist. It's different levels of it. Okay, and so if you are lucky enough to be here, but you've noticed certain things because a lot of people tend to think that just because you're alive that makes everything okay. However, having a narcissistic parent can destroy the quality of your life, and just kind of make life not worth living. So it's how a lot of you guys feel about it. And so I am a spiritualist. I am a healing witch that assists with this. And so it's a very, very, very complicated situation that can't really be discussed except for in private, especially when you are talking about the spiritual aspect of it, especially when you are talking about a mother or a father. But when it comes to your mother and when it comes to women, well, men do too, but women, the reason why our role is more important and more complex and more extensive when it comes to the creation of life is that women have to nurture. When you were in your mother's womb for 9 months, it took 9 months to grow you. She had to carry you with her for 9 months. And so, that's a lot more complicated, even though we know that men experience sympathetic aspects of your life coming into this world. They do. We're not discounting them. And so this could fall under that category. But today we are talking about parental curses on their children. Okay. We're not talking about the beautiful, wonderful aspect of parenting, of creation, where you are nurturing this child and you are, almost like, how a bird nurtures the child and teaches the child how to fly. Okay. And like almost like a bird's nest, or when you see ducks in a pond, you'll see the mother duck teaching the other ducklings how to swim, how to, get on in life. And a lot of people have different opinions of that. That's just like some parents think that in order for you to have successful children, that they have to go to school. There are some parents that don't agree with that. Some parents feel that children should be homeschooled. Hey, it's as long as you are preparing that child to soar their soul, and you are creating an environment of that of which they can do that, or at least you are trying. And so this is what we're going to talk about today, uh because family and a mother's curse in particular can be devastating. And so in this dynamic is very different. No matter what a deadbeat mother or a father, no matter what that child does, they're damned if they do and they damned if they don't. If you have this perspective in your existence in this world, you may want to look at your history, what's going on spiritually, because with a parent like that, it does not matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you did it or what you did it. When you were created by that parent, you were created for their purpose and their purpose only. Whatever they wanted or needed to do with you or to you is all that matters to them. And they can have a very powerful effect, especially depending on the spiritual power of your bloodline. And so, I think that the deeper the roots, the worse that it can be. So for example, if you were created strictly and only to be that parent's flunky, or if you were created strictly to for the parent to use you as some kind of trophy, or if you were only created to be sacrificed, or if you were only created because it was the parent that created that, they created it when, they decided your destiny and fate. Now, none of society agrees that a parent should be manipulating and creating the fate of their children. Fate is what you make it for your life. Your destiny is how you created it. That's what it should be. No parent should sit here and say, oh, when I gave birth to this child, I could tell that they were going to do this, or they were going to do that. Or I created this child specifically to die for me, or I created this child specifically to serve me as a slave. This is one of the most popular ones, which is why the Bible and religion is often used, because of uh, just it's pretty much the mindset. It's pretty much the thing. Now, should a parent actually be using the Bible against their child? No, I don't agree, which is why I don't consider myself to be a Christian. I am a pagan. Okay. And it just, and so whether or not you have experienced this in life with your parents, or that doesn't mean that you have to be pagan. You can still be a Christian and feel that way. It's up to you. So we're not putting limitations on this, but it's wrong for these parents to use their children, and if their children don't serve their purpose, they're not hurting them, they're not harming them. So I'm going to give you an example. If you go to your parent and you say, hey, give y'all some examples. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be an attorney. And they're like, no, 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 no. You have to be a doctor. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be an attorney. Or, for example, you say, well, parent, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be a witch doctor. No, 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 no. You have to be a doctor. Okay. That's what I raised you to be. That's what you're going to be. You're going to do what I tell you to do. You're going to be what I want you to be. And your desires in life don't matter. It's all about what I want, what I feel comfortable with. Or you can say, if you're car shopping, well, mom, I don't want a Prius. I want a Honda. I don't want a Prius. I want a Honda, or I want a Volkswagen. They said, no, 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 no. You got to get a Prius. Okay. And it's a big deal. If you don't do what they tell you to do, then they think, oh, I've got to pull rank and make a big deal about this because I said this. Or if you decide, hey, I don't want to live in the hometown that I grew up in. I want to soar my oats. I want to go to another country, or I want to live in another state. No, 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 no. You're supposed to stay here. No, I said stay here. No, I said stay close to me. No, and I'm going to be a tyrant if you do not do what I tell you to do, and I'm never going to accept it. I'm never going to accept that you made your own decision, and I am going to make sure in spirit this is how they work. They're unrelenting, they're non-forgiving. Personally, I don't see where you would need to have forgiveness for making your own decision in life. But hey, people are different. For you to have to say, hey, I apologize so much because, man, I decided that I wanted to live on 156th Street instead of 56th Street. I apologize. I am so sorry. That's a bit unreasonable. Okay. And here's the issue with that. A lot of people have reported, and some of these parents are sabotaging, actively sabotaging, speaking to people, gathering together an army against you to go against what you've decided to do with your life. It's not hurting anybody. It's not actually hurting anybody, but it's all about the abuse of the power that they supposedly have, the abuse of the power. Okay. It's not meant to protect you, it's not meant to save you. It's just meant to control you. Okay. That's it. It's not meant to do anything else. It doesn't serve your purpose in life. It's completely and totally unnecessary. Uh, in fact, um, you experience the opposite when you do branch off to do what it is that you want to do. But there are some of these parents that luckily find people that are silly enough, okay, and I do call them silly, or corrupt enough to try to carry out the pretty much the pointless agenda of this. Pretty much, it's pointless. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. There are some people that will try to capitalize off of that. But if you have to be able to separate it, like I was saying, you know, there are some people that, because I know that when you are breaking those curses and you're breaking those contracts and you are actually banishing those legions of entities that seem to come after you, that it does tend to clear things off of people that mistakenly did it. But there's some people in this world, they just have it out for you. So you can't always say, oh, well, you're doing this because of this. And, people have choices. Okay. So you can't just say, oh, everybody. And I mean, they may even be a similar uh, archetype like your mother. Okay. Or maybe they have adapted to this. And so this is the reason why you will see, these mothers demonizing their children, and you'll see an entire group or plethora of people going along with it, which is usually your family. And a lot of you don't deserve it. That hell has been put inside of you. But a lot of you, well, first of all, no one deserves that. Okay. Unless you're going around killing people, you done killed all the animals in the family. And I'm not talking about animal sacrifice, because I do know that animal sacrifice happens. I'm just saying that, it's just you're being painted out to be this monster that you're actually not. But in reality, because of that, that monster has to come out of you. And it's because of your will to survive. You're not going to allow those people to just run over you. You're not going to want to be around those people. You're going to be like, hey, you're kind of crazy. I don't want to be around you, because I feel like you're doing the same thing. And I'm breaking free of that, and I'm breaking away from that. And when you get through that therapy, when you're releasing yourself from that, it does come a time in your life, and it typically can take a minute, for you guys to actually completely be healed from it, which is why for some of you guys I always suggest, along with the spiritual work that you're getting, for you to see a therapist or a guidance counselor. Along with that, I do provide guidance counseling for that as well. But I do believe that in some cases, some of you guys, you would benefit from seeing a psychiatrist or someone, just that can give you that extra time, someone that is supportive, because the field of psychiatry does recognize these issues. Okay, they do. They recognize these issues. Okay, so it's not like what I'm talking about is unheard of, or because they'll try to make it seem like, because most of the people that have come in contact with an abusive narcissistic parent, they are already controlled. Most of the people that the narcissistic abusive parent has already programmed them to see you or perceive you in a certain way. Okay. And people, here's what I believe personally. I believe that people can genuinely be silly and they can make mistakes. But I believe that most people, when they are looking at a situation like that, they do have an intuition of it, but they are just as abusive, just as diabolical, just as controlling as your parent. And they want to go along with that program because for some reason they get some kind of kick out of it, and it's pretty disgusting. And there's an entire support system out there for you guys, because most of you're just trying to live your life. You just enjoy life. God loves you. I can promise you that, if you believe in God. uh God loves you, the angels love you, and they understand that you want to live this life, make the best of it, and you just want to live. You don't even really want to talk about it. Okay, the reason why I am talking about it is because I have clients that are dealing with that. And then also, this is a serious spiritual problem. This is when the power, for example, there are sometimes a judge can step into a courtroom and become corrupt, because power corrupts. Same thing with a parent. A parent does have a certain amount of power over the child until they are old enough, and that power can be corrupted. Okay. The power that your parents or had over you as a parent can become corrupt. This is something that society has had a hard time dealing with, especially when you're from certain ethnic or racial groups. um However, it's something that is recognized spiritually, and it is something that you can do about it, because what ends up happening is, when you break free of that parent, they set out to destroy your life. spiritually, physically, earthly, in every way. They set out to destroy you. Okay. They don't get over it. They don't let it go. They continue to try to prove that they were right. They will do everything in their power to destroy what you have built, which is your own identity. Okay. And so this is the reason why what goes along with the program, and the narcissistic attacks or the sociopathic or the psychotic attacks from people, what goes along with that is the sabotaging of your identity. This is how you end up with the smear campaigns against you. It's pretty much the same game. They have to destroy your identity to others. Okay. And they have to convince other people that you are this person because the truth ain't in them. It's not. Okay. And just because they're thumping a Bible doesn't mean that they are truthful and honest. Okay. They will lie on you. A person that wants to control you will lie. They will never admit to their wrongdoings, and they will take it to their grave. Okay. They will take it to their grave and they don't care. They could sit there, knowingly be lying on you, knowingly be telling a falsehood about you, but they would still tell it because it's just the way that some people are. Okay. Just like there are some people that are in denial about certain things. Okay. They're going to continue to be in denial about that. And, you can run into a lot of people like that. Okay. They exist. I see them every single day. And, it's always this disconnection from reality. They can literally do something and then 5 minutes later claim that they did not do it. Okay. Uh, and, it's just something that is in certain people. But, some things are not you have to choose your battles, is what they say. Okay. But when it comes to your parent doing that to you, there may be things. The problem with that is that either you have your own purpose that is your own personal purpose in this world, or you may have a purpose that is vetted with God. Okay, your purpose could be that of a very important spiritual purpose. When you have something like that going on, people are not going to understand why is it that I want to do this for the simplest, most pettiest reasons. Why? Could be loneliness, could be just sociopathy, could be an issue between your parents. Okay, could be that. Okay, they could be taking it out on you, whatever happened in their relationship. It could be getting taken out on you. Okay, it could be any number of reasons. And they can't figure out, why does this person keep surviving this? Why do they keep overcoming this? Why does it seem like every time I make a move to do harm to this person, something happens? Something happens that makes it perfectly clear that I shouldn't be doing that to that person. And that comes from God or spirit. Okay. That comes from your spirit team. For example, I'm going to use myself as an example with what I do for a living and who I am as a high priestess. Okay. Not that I would make a different choice, but it's kind of like it's not a choice. It just is what it is. I am who I am. If I had a narcissistic parent that tried to stop that or interfere in that, really, I would, I mean, there's work that needs to be done, which is why you guys go and you get your crystals or your prayer beads or Whatever it is that you do to cope with that situation, that is your connection to the Most High, whatever it is. And if anybody tries to interfere with that, something could happen. They're going to get stopped, they're going to get karma. And this is the reason why people should not interfere. Now, when should you interfere in your children's lives? When you see them doing something dangerous. And I'm talking about inherently dangerous, like dousing themselves with gasoline and lighting a match, running in the middle of a busy highway, running back and forth, jumping off of a bridge. The things that you guys want to do are not necessarily dangerous. Now, a parent could be a little worried, if their child steps on a plane and it's like, oh God, I'm going to pray that that plane, that you make it safely. Okay. A person that, especially a parent is not going to say, oh my God, unless they just have a feeling of, oh, wow. But even with that, you can see that people's will to survive is still very strong and powerful, and they do. So I think that interference, by a parent can be necessary. Like, for example, if you see your child sticking something in a freaking electrical socket, yeah. But getting to the point where, oh, you can't leave the house unless there is some kind of bubonic plague or something, you know what I'm saying? Or people are dying of the black plague, and you're like, no, do not, and you may be like, hey, I need to go out and get supplies. And they're like, no, 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 and please don't go. And you go anyway, and you're fine. And they're like, y'all know what I'm saying. But it's different because what I am talking about mainly and primarily is the type of parent that said, this is the roadmap. If you don't follow that, I'm going to destroy you because you have rebelled against what I said to do, and I am going to do everything I can to make your life miserable, to destroy what you did, to prove that you should not have done that, which was crossing the road, maybe, or something like that. So this is a parent that actually doesn't have love for the child, but rather they have hate, or maybe they may even be competing with that child. Very often you will see this parent not wanting the children or that particular child, if they don't want that particular child to surpass them. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a parent that's in competition with a child. We're talking about an evil parent, a diabolical parent that creates traumas in the child's life and then goes and laughs about it. We're talking about a parent that cannot stand you, a parent that wants you to be used as a means to their end or a sacrifice. This happens a lot spiritually. They will sell you to demons. They'll sell you to demons. They'll take out contracts on you. People don't want to talk about this. As soon as you start talking about this, then people start trying to claim that you're mentally ill. But we all know that in the spiritual community this exists. Okay. We all know that. Okay. It's something that's rarely talked about, but it is something that I speak about. And that is because I am supposed to. Okay. I am supposed to speak about these things. And they will try to silence you, especially if you overcome those strongholds. People tend to hate that because they want to always put no matter how abusive or wrong the narcissistic parent is, they always want to put them at a position over you because it's fun to them on some level. And so, but there are people out there, please understand that there are people out there like myself that are not like that. We see the truth, we know the truth. And then especially, if you're a person that wants to just go along and it suits whatever it is that you either want, mentally or psychologically, then that's fine. But we're talking about those of you that are like, okay, I just want to go and do this and this and that, and I just want to live my life, and you're being stopped at every turn, you're being attacked. There has been things put into place, in particular curses are very real. Okay. There are a lot of people that are in denial about this. Doesn't mean to say that every spiritual issue that you have is a curse, because sometimes it's not a curse. But at the end of the day, the root is a curse, because whether or not you're binded from doing what you want to do, whether or not certain, it's still a curse. Okay. It's still a curse. If it's something bad that hinders you or encumbers you, then it's, let's just put it under a curse. Let's not be technical and weird about it. Okay. Because I have seen a lot of different things that can be done. And let's just say that it's all considered to be a curse. Okay. So this is actually very, very real and has hindered people. And I've had tons and tons of people come to me to get these curses reversed off of them, and they are very complex, in particular if there is someone like either a family member or either an agent that was hired by the parent, whether or not the parent is alive anymore, or it may be an organization or a corporation possibly, or it may be people that know about this, which is why it's probably a good idea for you to discuss these things privately. Okay. Because a lot of the times when people hear that, it instantly starts ringing bells off in their head, and they figure, "Ooh, this is my opportunity to get in on this." Because if you tell somebody my parents don't love me, probably 7 out of 10 of those people are going to try to take advantage of you. 7 out of 10 of them are going to try to take advantage of you in some kind of way, instead of guiding you, being supportive of you. And you know so one of the things that I wanted to talk about that is particularly important is the difficulty that you have. Typically, there is something that you need to do spiritually. Now, most of the time, these are Bible curses, okay? So, did you know that whenever something very traumatic, when you're cursed, is happening, that means that on the other side of the fence, you're standing at a platypus of all of your dreams and wishes coming true. However, the deception is all of this trauma, all of these problems, all of these fears. But in reality, something good is happening. Now, if you believe that everything bad is getting ready to happen and you can't see the deception, then surely bad things will happen. But if you realized a long time ago, this is a deception, and basically, when you are about to break free and liberate and emancipate yourself from that, that is when certain things start to activate and kick in. So, for example, when you do anything to take, when you do things, because there are a lot of different things that we do, I'm not going to mention them, but there are certain things that we do with spiritual work so that you can gain your freedom and liberation from that, so that you can actually control your own destiny. Okay. So that you can be in control. And if you do any kind of work against that parent, what will happen is that it will be certain side effects and you'll feel it. You'll realize, okay, I've done something because I'm feeling some type of way. And it usually comes up as some kind of sickness or illness. A lot of the times it will. Or you won't feel well. For example, if you just, if you do any kind of spiritual work, and this is especially in particular for clients, what you'll notice is that as you are breaking free from this, things are being activated, spirits are being activated, things are literally escaping the body. You'll start to have mucus come out of nowhere because you are opening things up. Okay, or it will feel like it's trying to, kind of suffocate you and hold on. The moment you do something to take back your power over your destiny, all of a sudden you start to feel something. And this is the reason why, in order to handle these types of cases, even personally for myself, I have to know the right thing to do, because once I start removing that stuff from you, it may give you certain symptoms. You may get headaches. You may get depressed. You may, feel winded. You may feel like, you may feel like your chest is tight or something. And that is that particular spirit, that spirit of dominance over you trying to squeeze tighter. So that's why there are certain things that we use. There are certain herb mixes that I will send you. There are certain workings that I will send you. A lot of my clients, they'll receive things like a salt jar. It'll have a petition in it. It'll have alum in it. It'll have all kinds of other stuff in it. It'll have salt in it. And sometimes I'll put some wintergreen in it. Nettle leaf will be in it. It'll be various herbs that are going to clear that away. Or it could be indigestion. Indigestion is a big one. Okay, getting indigestion is a big one. Ghost pipe tincture is really, really good for this issue as well. So it's certain things that I'll send you to keep. Okay, because you don't want to actually throw them away, and I can't hold you guys' spiritual stuff. I have to send that stuff to you. It's blessed and it's prayed over and everything, and it's fine. It's actually going to um do you some good having it close to you. um but that's when you have to do certain things to remedy that situation, because the moment you do anything, like for example, if you have a mother or a father that is extremely dominant over you and you do some kind of ritual to take back your power or to take back control over your life, essentially you may feel sometimes it may cause you to, like, instantly you'll start to feel some type of way, and that is probably when, at that point, you probably need to do some kind of exorcism. You need to release it. You need to release it. You need to grab some sage. You need to grab some copal resin. You need to grab some herbs that you can burn safely. And you need to release those things. Okay. Some of the most popular ones are eucalyptus, camphor, rue, things like, any herb that is meant to break a curse. Um, Whorehound is a good one. Okay. There's a plethora of other ones. Rosemary is very good. Rosemary is a very important ally in that. And so, whenever you are going through any of those types of spiritual treatments, you need to make sure that you are communicating about those things. And then pine needles as well. Okay. Pine is really good for that as well. Um, and typically, what that curse is meant to do, and you have to break it. What that curse is meant to do is it is meant to assert the authority of the parent over your life, no matter how old you are. You can be 50, you can be 60, you can be 40, you can be 30. Okay. If you were told not to do that, it's almost like that movie, The Grudge. Y'all ever saw that movie, The Grudge? It's like it almost never stops unless you stop it. Okay. Um, and so it's kind of like one of those things to where you just have to trust the process, because it can be hard, especially when you're dealing with certain things. A lot of you guys, you know, uh, are having injustices when it comes to legal issues and things of that nature. And the reason why you're not being treated like other people is because that is the will of that, because it's meant to tear down and destroy. Now, does that mean that that's the only issue that you may have? No. When you go out in this world, people are going to have a problem with you. That we're talking about just one dynamic. It's a very important dynamic. It's a very important dynamic in your journey of life. Yes, it is. But it's not the only one. But this is one that can really be devastating to your life. There is an old Chinese proverb to where if your parent didn't want you to survive, you're not, pretty much. Now, there's been trillions of people that have survived and surpassed that, and they live wonderful lives. They're not bothering anybody, they're not hurting anybody. They're not. You have every right. You have a divine right to live your life. No parent has the right to tell you that you can't live. In fact, it's looked down upon in society. However, there are certain people, like, for example, there's certain, uh, customs in certain um, ethnic groups. There's certain customs, where, we've heard the horror stories about honor killings, where in certain places there are honor killings that happen. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do and honor whatever your parents say, even if your parents are putting you out there on the track to prostitute yourself, if you don't honor that, they will want to kill you. This is disgusting to a lot of people. A lot of people don't agree with that. There's some people that do. I don't know why, but there's some people that do. And I personally am not of that opinion and view that people have the right to commit honor killings and things of that nature. Uh, or either just attacks, harassment, some kind of program, preordained program to attack you. And a lot of you guys, I think that it is important to become very aloof to it. Don't fall into the emotion of it. I think that that's when you can truly tell. But if you have any emotions to release surrounding it, you should. But don't stay in that the rest of your life, because then you're not living life. You need to pretty much probably cut ties with certain people that want that for you. Listen, so and so said that you ain't supposed to do that, and that is just what it is, and you're not permitted to ever do that now, because you tried to break free and you wouldn't do exactly what that person said. It's very strange and unusual. um but it is what it is. I feel like a lot of you guys struggle with that. Those of you that are either trying to negate away from when it comes to career choices, or either the location that you live in. I think that that's mainly and primarily what is very triggering for certain people, is that, they may, they just, they don't want you to live where you want to live. It's very strange. It doesn't make any sense. For some reason, I guess they become insulted by it. And, why do you want to be away from me? But they take it personally, and they shouldn't. So a lot of you guys that try to move away, not just from your parents, but from family, period, they're just like, everything can't be related to self. Like, oh, so is it something that I did? No, it's just that, that's just like if your whole family lives in Texas, but you want to live in Alabama, or you want to live in Vegas, or you want to live in California. What's the issue? Where a person lives shouldn't cause hatred. That's kind of, but again, there's a certain reason, because maybe there were certain things that were to be carried out. And you can tell, because a lot of those things are going to be carried out, or they're going to try to carry those things out. That specific group of spirits are going to try to carry that out no matter where you're at. And I'm here to tell you that yes, you can fight against it. Yes, you can. I don't care what happened, because you never know what. You may have been raised by a parent that raised you to be very independent. Maybe perhaps they ran into somebody and became possessed. And now all of a sudden, you're supposed to be um, mentally ill so that somebody can collect a government check. Okay. Oh, no, you're mentally ill. Oh, yeah, you're mentally ill because they want to collect a check. Okay, it's as simple as that. Even though we all know that the earth is very abundant, and we are actually not in a recession, guys. We're not in a recession. I've looked it up. We're not in a recession. Well, I don't. Y'all may have to correct me on that, but like for example, I guess it's being encouraged to pretend to be mentally ill. To and yeah, I think that that's okay if you are genuinely having an issue. But if you are an independent person that is of sound mind, body, and spirit, nobody should be encouraging mental illness upon you. Nobody should be doing that. That's kind of ridiculous. If you're perfectly capable of doing something, and it's completely up to you. But I'm just bringing that up as an example. Okay, I'm bringing that up as an example. Okay, we're not going to get stuck on that. A lot of you guys have been through a lot with these types of parents, and so you make it however you can. You do. Okay. um However, there are a lot of people that don't want to necessarily be codependent on the government, but yet they do want the laws in their state to work for them. Wanting the laws in your state to work for you and having the laws work in your favor does not mean government codependency. So for somebody to say, hey, I'm sovereign, doesn't mean that, oh, the laws that are meant to protect you are not going to protect you. That's silly. Okay. And I think that I think that people will misinterpret that. No, yeah. I felt that I was sovereign, but that doesn't mean that I don't want the law to protect me and for me to always have a miscarriage of justice. No. So y'all got to understand that it's very tricky out there. And you have to be very specific about what you will into your life when you see things like that. When you say, "Oh my God, this is a miscarriage of justice. This is I've been done wrong." Okay, you you can basically say okay. You don't have to be a government recipient to be given justice under the laws of the land is basically what I'm saying. Because the law is just the law, it's just the law, it's just the law, and it doesn't matter. Whatever the law is, it is what it is. Okay. So I do a lot of healing for people like that. It's very, very difficult. Um, every child deserves a parent, but every parent doesn't deserve a child. And you know what? There are some people that are child abuse enablers. They enable this abuse. They enable it. And we don't do that over here. Okay. What we do over here, and this has been something that I have specialized in for years, is we free you from that enslavement. It's not technically that shouldn't hurt your parent. It's not going to hurt them. It's not going to physically hurt them. It's just perhaps they couldn't figure out another way to survive something. I'm not sure of what that was. You know what I'm saying? And so and just to give y'all a bit of advice, it doesn't change. It doesn't mean it. It's not something that you can change. If it's a person's personality, it's just their personality. And a lot of us can look at possession and we can say, oh, that person was possessed. But if a person has that personality and they follow that chain of command, it's just something that can't change. You can't say, oh, I just want to live and be, I want a great relationship with my parent. Unfortunately, you can't ever trust them. Unfortunately, if your parent did not have it in their mind that they raised you, that you are a free and liberated human being that has the right to go out into this world and do well, with or without them, on your own, on their own. And the crazy part about it is that parents that are usually like that, especially women, they will train up or raise up their children to be independent from everybody except for them. And nobody understands why this is an encumbrance. Why do you have to go through 29,000 hoops just to survive? 29,000 hoops just to earn money. 29,000 hoops. You shouldn't have to do that. Okay. And a lot of you are dealing with that to where life has been made harder for you. So I am not a judgmental person. I help people that are in that position. Okay. And you can make life easier on you. I don't know why people want to make life harder on people. There's some people that just want to give you a hard time because they don't like you, or either they may have prejudices or things of that nature. Don't pay any attention to them people. Try to ignore those people, because there are good people in this world, and there are people in this world that want to see you do well in life. They want to see you happy. They want to help you discover that happiness and to not feel as though you are a slave. Now, if you are a Black person and you have a Black parent that is doing this to you, this is the most evil. That's evil because Black people already can possibly have it difficult in this world. You can already have a hard time as a Black person. It's or a woman. We all could say that. It's not just Black. It can be, you can be a woman. Women already have it hard enough. And so having that kind of, I want to say shaky foundation, because a lot of people will sometimes look at it as their stability, but in reality, there's nothing stable about that. In reality, there's nothing stable about that because that's instability. You're not allowed to be who you are. You're not allowed to do what it is that you want to do, even though you want to do it really, really bad. And it's something that is your connection to the Most High, and the Most High is telling you, I'm talking about the Most High, God, I'm talking about Spirit. They're not telling you to go along with it. I understand that it's confusing because of the Bible. The Bible's very confusing to people. People think that because the Bible said it, that's just it. Okay, people believe that. Okay, but I think that um, probably after a certain age or something, because really in reality, you would go nowhere in life. You wouldn't. You would get nowhere. You would go nowhere. And let's face it, we hear about it on the news all the time. We hear about people using the Bible to take advantage of people. Okay? Trying to use the Bible to get away with murder. Trying to use the Bible to get away with rape. Trying to use the Bible for a lot of different purposes. Okay? So you are not a bad kid. You are not horrible. You are not a horrible person because you wanted to move to Hawaii and, become a yoga instructor or something. Maybe some of y'all, I don't know why I can sense that one of y'all that are going to watch this wants to move to Hawaii and become a yoga instructor. I'm going to be the one to say, go for it. I'm going to be the one to say, go forward in that. I think that that's an excellent idea for you. Why not? Heck, I kind of want to go to Hawaii and become a yoga instructor. Okay? So, there's nothing wrong with that. Sorry, guys. I'm in here making coffee. If you are a client that is getting generational curses and strongholds and from me, if you are a client that is doing that, sorry guys, and there's certain rituals that I will do for you, it's important for you to keep me updated and for you to contact me in case of emergencies, because I can tell you that when it is that final draw, when it is time to break completely free of that in your mind, body, and your spirit, it can create a healing crisis. And I may have to pray over you. I do the same Latin exorcism incantation. So you guys, communication is very important. Okay. Sometimes when a bad spirit pops up, you can't just go, well, I'm just gonna release it. No, you have to have words and intention to banish it because it's coming out of you. And some of y'all, it may come out of you in various ways. The preferred way is for it to go ahead and come through the bowels, okay? Because it you know what's been happening is that what's been happening in your body, okay, is that it's been building up certain things, okay? I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. There have been people that have never ever been to a beach in their life ever. They've never been to a beach and they have been going through these spiritual treatments and they will go and take a poop and they will poop out sand. Now, a lot of people can interpret that as being as that sand as being what is that stuff that gets caught up at kidney stones and stuff like that, you know, but that's your kidneys, you know, not your bowels. It's something to where you've been internalizing a lot of this for years. You've been internalizing it, and it actually manifests in the physical inside of the body. It really does, you know. So anyway, that is pretty much my discussion. um like I said, we don't discuss these things out in public. The reason why I do it is because I specialize in this. I've noticed that a lot of people are definitely afraid of breaking those cycles. They are afraid, and that's because you were programmed to be afraid. Okay, you were programmed to be afraid, and you know, so it's kind of like um some of you guys, your life depends on it. It was never meant for your self-esteem to be wrapped around the parents. It that was supposed to be separate. And, you know, this is what spirit is doing. This is what the spirit is doing these days. Spirit is not promoting that codependency to where if your parent didn't love you or respect you, that you're not supposed to love and respect yourself. You have to get yourself a good support system. You can't be around people that don't actually love or care about you. You can't be around those types of people because those types of people are going to do what? That you are looked at as somebody to be taken advantage of. And that's exactly what those kind of parents lead you to. They lead you to be taken advantage of. They lead you to be used. They lead to for everybody in your life to be as disrespectful as possible to you. Okay. Especially when it comes to men. Women that have experienced this typically have the hardest time um, maintaining good relationships with men because the men, if they know about it, all of a sudden they feel like they don't have to respect you. You're being treated like a child and you're almost 50. And when you're no longer a child, it gets more cruel because if you step beyond your 30s and your 40s, you're just kind of treated like an invalid all of a sudden, even though you're perfectly capable. So get yourself a good support system, somebody that's not going to take advantage of that because you know, people that take advantage, typically those are people that need somebody to look down on. They need to be able to look down upon somebody to feel good about themselves. Okay. And it sucks. It's tragic, but it just is what it is. Okay. This smells good, y'all. I made some more of my salt just with kosher salt. So I'm getting ready to I've been up since I woke up at about 4:30 this morning. So I'm getting ready to start my day. Y'all have a good one. Blessings. Bye.